Edward Burke arrives at the Dirksen U.S. Courthouse for his corruption trial on December 12, 2023. Jurors held their first full day of deliberations Tuesday in the racketeering trial of former Ald. Edward Burke, long the city council's powerhouse, was accused of abusing his significant influence for his own personal gain. The panel of 9 women and 3 men deliberated for about 10.5 hours over 2 days but could not reach a decision. Less than an hour later, the panel sent its first substantive memorandum to the judge, requesting clarification on charge accusing co-defendant Charles Cui of using interstate commerce to facilitate an illegal activity. The count required the jury to determine whether Burke accepted property from Cui that was not legally authorized to accept and whether he received a fee or reward that knew was not permitted by law. In their notes, jurors asked for a definition of the phrase "not permitted by law." After lengthy arguments from prosecutors and Burke's attorneys, Kendall sided with Cui's attorneys, who asked him to simply tell jurors that the answers were already contained in the instructions they had received. The question reflects how complex some of the jury's findings must have been, and it was a reminder that while that count only charged Cui with a crime, Burke's alleged actions and his status as city councilman were at the heart of everything about the case. After a brief discussion, Kendall agreed to tell them the answer was no. Amtrak stepped in during evidence for the $600 million renovation of the old post office. Because the project is located on train tracks to and from Union Station, redevelopers had to deal extensively with Amtrak and faced significant bureaucratic hurdles. Prosecutors allege Burke worked to facilitate developers in a scheme to get their legal business for his firm. The jury was previously instructed that the term public official means a person elected by law to perform a public duty, so Amtrak does not qualify. After discussing final note, attorney Todd Pugh, who represents Burke's co-defendant Peter Andrews Jr., told the judge his client was in hospital. He did not explain why at the public hearing, but said things were not as bad as first thought and that he might be discharged. Andrews' participation has been cancelled for now. Pugh declined to comment further on Andrews' condition after the hearing. Ed Burke corruption trial evidence seen and heard by jury. The talks are expected to last for days. The charges against Burke and the other defendants are significant and complex. It took Kendall about 4 hours to read the jury instructions alone on Monday. They must resolve 19 in the case, including 14 charges against Burke and a combination of other involving Andrews and Cui. At the center of the case were dozens of phone calls and secretly recorded meetings by former 25th Ward Alderman Daniel Solis, who became an FBI mole after being confronted about his own wrongdoing in 2016. W.